All right, let's roll into our post-race for tonight's 52nd annual Irwin Tools Night Race here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Our third-place finisher is Jeff Gordon, and he drove the number 24 Farmville Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And Jeff, certainly you were up there all night battling for this one. Talk about your run and your thoughts about tonight's race.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild night, typical night race at Bristol. But the thing that was unique is that outer groove. I mean, I still can't believe. I thought there was potential of this happening. I thought about it the other day when I first saw that outer groove that was smoother, and I was like, I wonder if rubber could get laid down up there. And then as the race started progressing, I said, it looks like there's rubber laid up there, and then started getting messages from other, from my spotter and my crew chief, Alan, saying, yeah, we're hearing something about rubber up there, that there's some more grip. And from that point on, it was all four tires up there on that new pavement or the concrete that they ground. So I say they grind the whole place. Sounds awesome. Hope they do that next time. But what I loved about the racing tonight, even though it was really tough to pass, is it just reminded me of old school Bristol. I can remember, I believe it's 91, 92, I think it was 92, before they put concrete down, being up on top of the spotter stand watching the cup race, and just enjoying the heck out of it, because Daryl and I think maybe Davey, Ernie Irvin, I mean, those guys were just running right up against the wall, diamond in the racetrack. It was hard to pass. You did slide jobs on guys when you got runs, and that's what we had tonight. So, I think it was a success, and I certainly had a lot of fun. I made one mistake that cost us, I think it possibly cost us the win. We had new tires on, and I was fighting pretty hard on that outside to try to maintain the position and gain some positions, and I got up high and pushed a little too hard. I thought I hit oil, but maybe I just got too loose, and I got up out of the groove, which was possible to do off of 4, and then that put something on my tires. I got down into 1-2 and lost it again and got the wall, and that cost us a bunch of positions, and we had to change our pit strategy and everything, so it hurt us.
Okay, Jeff, thank you. We'll take some questions now. Start over here with Jim Utter. To the right.
Jim Uttershaw, Observer. You've made mention a couple times of 1991. I think there were some mentions on it from some people on the radio and also on TV. Was the line that at that time more because it was asphalt? Is that why people were running it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I raced here once in the Nationwide or Busch Series when it was pavement, and I mean, back then I think we may have even had bias ply tires, but it's just the way that the cars handled and the way the track was, and you can go back, prior to even that race that I saw, and that was the way that you ran this racetrack. You went in kind of at the bottom and went up to the top, and guys are smoking the right rear tire and all those things. So. That's what I'm referring to, is the comparison, and because the rubber got laid down on that smoother concrete, that's what allowed us to do that. It had a lot of grip up there.
Let's go up to the press box. I think we have a question for Jeff. Go ahead, press box.
Nate Hubbard with the Bristol paper. Just with the wild card situation the way it is, does it make even a solid third place run like this harder to accept, just with how valuable wins have to be heading down the stretch here? Yeah, I mean, it keeps us still in it because one of the other guys in the wild card didn't win it. I don't know what that's going to do with Tony Stewart. I know he had trouble. I mean, I think we've all been kind of watching where if Denny or Tony fall outside that top 10, it changes everything. So, we need wins. We know that. We're fighting hard for it tonight. We come up short, but we've got two more good opportunities, Atlanta and Richmond, that we can definitely get wins at.
Go ahead. Stay at the press box. Let's go.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Jeff, beyond just the 1991 comparison of how it felt more like the old Bristol in terms of the groove perspective, from the emotional and action perspective, it seemed like guys were bumping each other more, and you had Tony Stewart's helmet toss. Did it seem a little bit more like the old Bristol in terms of the emotions and everything that was out there tonight?
Well, I think combination of that rubber laid down up there, which was a preferred groove, and the left side tire that Goodyear brought here, it seemed to even complement that more. This tire really didn't, it has less stagger, and it doesn't allow you to roll around the bottom of the racetrack. So the only way you could pass was to just dive on in there and slide job the guy. And sometimes you don't complete that. And when you don't complete that, it definitely will get you frustrated and lose positions, and if you hit the guy, it's gonna fire him up. So I don't know what happened between Tony and Matt. I thought I saw where Tony got into him, and then after Tony got by him, Matt obviously got back into him. So they're battling for the win, and it was not easy to pass. And I think I guess that's what they were trying to accomplish. Was make it harder to pass. So you had to kind of bump the guy out of the way. There's no more bump and run, but there's definitely plenty of slide jobs and side-by-side action where guys are rubbing up on one another and trying to maybe get in their fenders. So, yeah, I mean, from that standpoint, it was pretty exciting.
Anything else in the press box for Jeff? We're clear. How about downstairs? Anybody else with a question for Jeff Gordon? We'll take David, and then we'll hear from Jimmy. This will be the final question for Jeff Gordon. Go ahead.
Jeff, kind of a follow-up on what Nate was saying. Could you feel more intensity out there on the track than you maybe felt in the spring race and recent races here?
Yeah, I mean, the pace was fast. You'd fly up around the top like that with all that rubber down. I don't know what kind of lap times we were running, but I hit my rev limiter every single straightaway, every lap. We didn't have it set right, I can tell you that, for that pace. It was fast, and it was intense, because it was so tough to pass. And any time you feel like you're better than the guy ahead of you and he's holding you up, and you look at the cars, they're lined up behind you, and you're like, man, if I make a move, I better be sure that I've got him. And there was, I made several slide jobs, and I think I completed about 90% of them, but that 10% that I didn't complete cost me, quite a few positions. Restarts were intense because you're down there around the bottom. Outside groove is the preferred lane, and you're sliding and pushing hard and rubbing up on guys. So, yeah, I think there's a little more intensity tonight than normal.
Jeff, thank you very, very much, and wish you a lot of luck the next two races.